Hello, I'm Becher Townshend and welcome to a mini-FontCast. Today we have our good friends from Enterprise Marketing and Research Services in to talk about a timely little survey they've done regarding Australia Day. I'm joined by Brad Stansfield.
Hello.
Hello. David Killick.
Morning all.
And another person I know pretty well, Mary Massina, the new Managing Director of EMRS. Mary, hello.
Hello.
No, pretty well, Peach. You share a bed with her.
Yeah, well...
Well, hang on, we haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks, so this is,
this
pretty
is actually
new.
a get-together because she's starting a new job and so she's busy in that.
Well,
So,
the good thing is we've finally got another woman on the program.
we've got some diversity,
on the
which
font.
is great.
Where do you find that?
Yep.
Yeah, I
And
know.
can I say diversity in two ways, both gender and ethnicity?
There you go.
Just letting
Tick
you
quite a
know.
few boxes today.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We've done
Not
well.
sure that that's still the rage anymore, but good job, Peach. Well done.
Okay, so before you tell us a little bit about the survey, Mary, tell us about your new role and what you've been up to.
Oh, well, as some of you may know, I've been working at Mary Ann's Island doing things like bringing, Class A water to South Arm through an irrigation scheme and developing a golf course. So that's all been incredibly enjoyable. But then I was offered the experience and the opportunity of a lifetime, which was to come
Sucking up to the bosses.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've learned
Work for
so
Braddon
well.
Beach.
Yeah, no,
Going well.
learned well.
Yeah.
To come and run EMRS, and hey, I couldn't say no. It brings together all the things that I love, like politics, understanding what makes people tick, and obviously running Tasmania's leading and most prestigious polling and market research company, and ultimately being the first to know the news.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's very exciting. All right, so tell us a little bit about this survey you've done.
Yeah, look, we really wanted to test, Australia Day support. It's obviously one of those timely discussion points every year. So we did. And firstly, can I do a shout out to the EMRS crew who've pulled this all together? Well done. So the online survey was conducted from the 15th through to the 21st of January, and 1,048 Tasmanians aged 18 plus took part. Now, there's a 95% confidence level with an error of plus minus 3.02%.
So
pretty good.
just to be clear, online survey.
Correct.
David's newspaper does online surveys. How is it different to that?
Oh, look, I think, for starters, we are fairly rigorous with our online survey, and we had a fairly clear time target in which we were conducting the survey. And let's face it, EMRS is known for being one of Australia's leading and prestigious market researchers. And realistically speaking, every time we pull out a polling result or a survey result, we're usually always 100% correct.
With your
100%,
well,
apart from
95%.
3.0.
But with your survey, you have a panel. So
Yes,
as
that's
opposed
correct.
to an opt-in process that Dave's talking
Yep.
about, you have a panel of people who have agreed
Yep.
to participate in surveys, rain, hail or shine. So it's arguably probably a more representative cross-section of the community. Would be my suspicion.
Yes.
Than the great summer bowl? Come now.
No.
Well,
God forbid that we'd ever criticise that. Fine thing, Dave. But yes.
all right.
Big issue survey, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then look, on this
Bit of
on this
fun.
particular question, I've racked my memory. Bet you've been around a little bit longer than me.
I have.
I mean, I've seen this question asked nationally regularly. In fact, I think it was asked quite recently regularly by the IPA or some independent organisation. But I don't recall it being done specifically in Tasmania. So I'm quite keen to see the results, Mary.
Yeah, I can't recall it being done in Tassie for quite a long time, even if it has done. So, yes, Mary, overall, what are the results?
Well, overall, we have 56% support, 34% against, with 11% unsure
So 56% support for
for Australia Day.
on 26th of Jan.
Correct.
There you go.
Now,
So that's, just to be clear, that's a clear majority.
correct.
And arguably, my sense is it's about 60% nationally. That's my sense, the numbers I've been looking at. So So it's not. It's in line with that. Yeah. Okay. So go on.
And what's really interesting is it's a tale of a state where there is stronger support in the north and the northwest, around about 71% support, 22% saying no and 8% unsure. And then when you start looking at the demographics, obviously older people more than younger people are supportive. So 70 plus is 61% support for Australia Day, 55 to 69 cohort, that's 58% support. And then we go to the 18 to 34, 35% support, 43% say no, and 22% are unsure.
Those young people in Tasmania are very unpatriotic, are they, Mary?
Oh, I don't know about that, but in many respects, it's not a surprise. But I think when we start to really break it down in terms of the electorates, so if we look at the good electorate of Clark, 46% don't support Australia Day, with 44% supportive. And then we flip up into... Yeah, I didn't think you would be fairly surprised by that one, Brad. And then we go to Braddon, where there is, 72% support and 21% don't support. But we took it a step further and actually looked at legislative council seats, and that becomes starker. So again, looking at Hobart, 57% went no, with a 37% support. And
so Legico seat of Hobart is basically Hobart and what? Lenna Valley, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of West Hobart where you live, yeah.
Bit of up in Struggle Street.
Yeah.
Yep, very much Struggle Street.
Yep.
And then Montgomery, 75% says yes, 18% says no.
All right, so all you candidates in Montgomery, get out there on Sunday waving your Australian flags.
Yeah, well, I've got to say...
All over your Facebooks.
Yeah. No real surprises there, if you ask me. But one of the things I think you also asked, and I'd be interested to get a better understanding of, is with the no's and unsures, what did they support? Did they support alternative dates? What did that research find?
Yeah, look, we put forward a number of alternative dates, all located to points in history, Australian history. And what we actually found was there really wasn't an overwhelming support for a particular date. So if we look at the 1st of January, which is the anniversary of Federation, that received 28% support.
Sam's nodding for that one. He's keen on that one.
Good on you, Sam. And then on the 27th of May, which is the anniversary of the 1967 census, where Aboriginals were allowed to be counted in census. So that was 27%. And then we have Wattle Day, which is the 1st of September, and that again attracted 27%.
Who knows about Wattle Day?
Yeah, that one was new. That one is new to me, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So really, when you look at it, there really isn't solid evidence for an alternative date.
What about not supporting it, not supporting Australia Day at all?
Well, that's even more interesting, because only 3.4% overall didn't support celebrating Australia Day at all.
Well, that's interesting. What does it all mean, Dave? You've been pretty killer. You've been pretty quiet there. What's your take on all this?
Oh, look, I'm about to make a terrible confession. I'm a Kiwi, so you can take your National Day. So I'm all about Waitangi Day.
He's a closet All Black supporter.
Yeah.
I'm deeply concerned. What happens when the cricket's playing? Are your true colours come out? Do
this goes
they?
back further
the
than
rugby.
Yes,
Love
I
the
know. That's
ancient
what I
rugby.
was saying.
All Blacks and cricket. No, because I stopped following cricket after the underarm bowl. You pack.
Well.
What was it? 1902.
How dare you? What gives you the right to be a political reporter for the Mercury
But I'll
newspaper?
give you,
Jesus, man.
Dual citizen, don't deport me. Look, what I found really interesting about those numbers is that, a day that's meant to unite us still divides, even on the numbers in Braddon. You got 1 in 5 people don't support our National Day. And the support among young people makes me think, even though I don't think change will happen soon, it will happen. Nobody seems to have a really good idea about when we should celebrate. I think New Year's Day is a terrible day to celebrate your National Day because, we're all hungover. And it's a public holiday anyway. I'm more in favour. Of
Strange
An
enough,
extra public holiday.
Yeah, I think we use lasers to determine the gap
look,
between
I
the
think-
current public holidays and
Well, I think wattle's a
celebrate it
very
then.
important thing, and we should celebrate Wattle Day. So let's have a national holiday for that. But anyhow,
Day of Atonement for the underarm bowl. Never forget.
Get over it.
all right, well, okay,
Well, in a direction I didn't expect.
okay. Well, somebody else has been fairly silent on this, and has turned his back on AFL because of Essendon's poor treatment tens of years ago. Brad Stansfield, what's your view?
Well, just a reminder to our listeners and viewers that David Killick, New Zealander, lives in South Hobart, so that would
Double
explain his
disqualified.
perception
Yeah.
of Australia Day there. Look, the thing with polling research surveys, in my experience, is they rarely give you something that surprises. They normally tell you something that you already knew
Yep.
or you thought you knew. It
Yep.
confirms things rather than throwing up great shocks. And I don't think this is any great shock. There's majority support for Australia Day in Tasmania. The Northwesterners love it more than the Citizens Republic of Hobart do. The old people love it more than the young people. No great shocks amongst any of that. For the record, I voted yes in the Voice referendum, and I do support Australia Day on the 26th of January for a few points. One, it's a historical fact, you can't change that. Secondly, and I think this is the problem that the case for change has, there is no compelling argument for an alternative date. That's what I think that's the most interesting thing out of this research. Is like, if there was an obvious alternative date with a compelling argument that it'd be moved tomorrow, but there's not, people cannot agree where we should move it to. So I think that's the reason why we aren't going to see change anytime soon. And in my view, I also make the point, if Australia Day celebrations were moved, we're not going to reduce the division. We're not going to change anything. In fact, we're probably going to double it. We're going to get protests on Australia Day, 26th of Jan. I'm going to get protests on the new Australia Day, whatever date that's going to be. It's not going to fix the problem that people think it's going to fix by moving the date. So, in my view, the date won't be changing anytime soon. And as I say, I think the fact there's no compelling case for an alternative is a big part of that.
Well, I think Brad, you make a very good point, and I think at the heart of it, that's the issue. Is it's not actually about changing the date; it's about the way in which we celebrate the day, and that's actually what the debate is all about, and what the day means and what it stands for. And I think that's where the issue lies. So changing the date won't change that. Well, it might. Some people might argue it, but changing the arguments around why we're celebrating that day, I think, is really at the heart of this issue. So, yeah, I think it is interesting. I think the results are quite interesting from that older demographic. The other interesting thing, if you bore down into the results, is older people if they don't like Australia Day on the day and they want to move the day, because hold in mind those people who didn't support Australia Day, wanted to move the date, were the ones who were asked the question about where do we move it to. The older you are, the more you like the idea of federation, unfortunately, Dave. So your public holiday goes to the Four Winds. The younger you are, the more you're likely to go elsewhere. So that's interesting in itself. So there you go. All right. Well, thanks, Mary, for coming in. Great insight.
It says in the script here that you should give your thoughts as a proud Irishman.
Well,
there are two Irish people sitting at this
there
table,
are two Irish.
plus a New Zealander. So.
Mary Massina and Becher Townshend. But I suppose from my point of view, as I've said, this is a debate about what are we celebrating on Australia Day, not the actual day. To me, I think those people that celebrate Australia are really trying to celebrate all the great things that we have as a nation. They're not trying to signify that this is Invasion Day or anything like this. It's not a negative reflection on the Aboriginal community or what's happened historically. I think they're two different groups talking about two different things. I certainly understand both sides of the debate, but for me, like you, Brad, I voted yes in the Voice referendum, and yes, I will be celebrating Australia Day as much as I do. I'm not a big wrap myself in the Australian flag, but I am very proud of this very fine nation. We've done a lot of great things, and I'm very happy to live here. So hopefully that.
Very good.
Thank you. All right.
Put the music back up, Sam.
Thank you. Thanks, Mary. Yes, there you go. Thanks, Mary, for coming in. Great insights as usual from EMRS.
Thank you.
FontCast is brought to you by Enterprise Marketing and Research Services, Tasmania, leading and trusted research provider. Thank you, Brad.
Great to be here.
Thank you, David.
Thanks for having me.
Don't forget you can catch us now on our new YouTube channel, whatever it's called. We haven't got a name yet, but probably FontCast YouTube channel. FontCast is produced and directed by Sam Eichen from Eichen Media. And until next time, carry on.